If your stomach drops every time an unexpected calendar invite from HR pops up, your body already knows you are walking into a trap. That dread isn't paranoia. It's your nervous system recognizing a behavioral program that your mind hasn't named yet. Your breathing gets shallow. The intellect tries to rationalize it, telling you it is just a routine check-in, but the body knows. The body understands systemic exploitation before the brain does. It recognizes an extraction loop spinning up. You are about to walk into a carefully designed psychological arena, and your biology is screaming at you to run. The tragedy is that we are conditioned to ignore that physical alarm bell, to swallow the dread, to smile and click accept. You aren't just tired of meetings. You are exhausted by the invisible operant conditioning required to survive them. Let's look at exactly what happens when you step inside that virtual room. Think about the mandatory Friday town halls. The HR representative using the word family to describe a commercial enterprise. This is where the cognitive dissonance takes root. You sit there, listening to executives tell underpaid staff that you are all in this together. Your brain hears the words, but your nervous system feels the slow drain of your life force. They demand your professional output, but they also demand your emotional loyalty. Conflating those two boundaries is deliberate gaslighting. It forces you to invest your personal identity into a disposable role. When you fail to meet an impossible KPI, it no longer feels like a business problem. It feels like a moral failure. You carry that guilt home, letting it ruin your evening, because the machine convinced you your worth is tied to their profit margins. That manufactured guilt is incredibly heavy. It is the reason you collapse on the couch at 6 in the evening, unable to do anything but stare at a screen. You blame yourself for lacking discipline. Stop doing that. The exhaustion you feel after an HR culture sink is not normal physical fatigue. It is the biological byproduct of suppressing your own reality all day. Maintaining a fake smile while a manager enforces a policy that actively harms you burns a massive amount of caloric energy. You are running a high-grade psychological defense mechanism for 8 straight hours. The grind is not just about the volume of work. It is about the sustained effort of pretending the work matters in the way they claim it does. And HR is the department tasked with making sure you never stop pretending. We are taught a very specific lie about human resources. The cynical take is that HR exists solely to protect the company from lawsuits. That sounds smart, but it misses the actual machinery at play. If they only cared about legal liability, they would just issue a handbook and leave you alone. Instead, they run continuous engagement surveys, mandatory training modules, and bi-weekly check-ins. HR is not a passive legal shield. It is active compliance machinery running a continuous extraction loop on your daily output. Their actual job is to manage your perception of reality so tightly that you never realize how little leverage you actually have. They are engineering an environment where you suppress your own instincts. To do this, they cannot ask for total submission all at once. They have to trick you into building your own cage, piece by piece. They install this cage through a psychological tool called micro-compliance. They do not demand that you surrender your weekends on day one. Instead, they start with tiny, seemingly harmless requests. A mandatory 5-minute survey about workplace happiness. A request to keep your webcam on during a 90-person call. A suggestion to install work communication apps on your personal phone. Each request feels too small to fight over, so you yield. You leave the camera on. This is textbook operant conditioning. Every time you agree to a minor boundary violation, you are training your brain to accept the next one. You are teaching your nervous system that your personal limits do not matter. By the time they ask you to cancel your vacation for a project launch, the behavioral program is already locked in. The apex of this conditioning is the annual performance review. You walk in expecting an objective evaluation of your metrics. That is a dangerous misunderstanding of the event. The performance review is an arena designed to reset your compliance levels. Your manager will invariably find a flaw, a vague area for growth that has nothing to do with your actual output. Needs more visibility, should be more of a team player. These aren't actionable metrics. They are moving targets. They are designed to keep you slightly off balance, constantly striving for an approval that will never fully arrive. Once this insecurity is installed, you begin to self-police. You work through lunch. You burn out quietly, ensuring the machine extracts maximum value from your hours without ever triggering a full vocal rebellion? Why the sudden escalation in tracking software and forced return to office mandates? Why does the grip feel tighter now than it did 3 years ago? The urgency is entirely structural. Look at the software quietly being integrated into your department. The algorithms are learning your workflows. Exponential tech is absorbing administrative tasks and middle management reporting at a terrifying speed. The machine is preparing to run without you. Your manager does not need you to build a career here. They only need you to remain a compliant, functioning node until your specific role can be entirely automated out. They are managing your decline. If you react to this reality with panic, you play right into their hands. You have to dismantle the behavioral program at the point of contact. The only way to short-circuit this extraction loop is a specific countermeasure: tactical detachment. You must strip the emotional manipulation out of your interactions. We call this the clinical reflection protocol. When your manager offers vague, manipulative feedback about your attitude or visibility, do not defend yourself. Defense is a reaction, and reacting proves the conditioning is working. Instead, you stare directly at them and ask for a flat, falsifiable metric. What specific data point indicates a lack of visibility? Force them to translate their psychological manipulation into cold mathematics. 90% of the time, they cannot do it. They will stumble and backtrack, because their entire management style relies on your emotional submission. By demanding data, you instantly sever the emotional cord they use to drain you. You execute this tactic not to win an argument, but to protect your biology. Every time you force the conversation back to flat data, you block a micro-compliance trap. You stop the slow bleed of your energy. You train your nervous system that the workplace is just an economic exchange, not a measure of your human worth. They are paying for a service, nothing more. The moment you internalize this, the dread evaporates. The calendar invite from HR becomes nothing but pixels on a screen. You walk into the performance review cold, clear, and utterly untouchable. The behavioral program crashes because it requires your anxiety to run, and you have stopped providing the fuel. The question is, what will you do with all that reclaimed energy once the extraction stops? Measure of your human value. That separation is critical, because the most dangerous behavioral program HR installs is the narrative that the company is a family. This is not sloppy corporate phrasing. It is deliberate gaslighting designed to blur your professional boundaries with misplaced emotional loyalty. When they call you family, they are weaponizing your natural human instinct for tribal belonging. They use it to extract unpaid overtime, weekend emails, and extra emotional labor without ever adjusting your compensation. You feel profound cognitive dissonance because your body recognizes it is being bled dry, while your inbox tells you everyone is just pitching in for the greater good. They manufacture this familial guilt so you will voluntarily sacrifice your weekends without them ever having to issue a formal directive. It is systemic exploitation wrapped seamlessly in the language of community support. Once that familial guilt takes root in your mind, the operant conditioning is completely locked in. The extraction loop runs entirely on autopilot. Your manager no longer needs to actively push you to work late. You begin to self-police. You check your project updates at 9 at night on a Tuesday because the behavioral program tells you that stepping away means letting the team down. You endure the grind not because you are overly ambitious, but because you are terrified of the manufactured shame they have tied to your rest. This is exactly why you wake up already exhausted. The machine is siphoning your life force quietly, relying on your own ingrained compliance to keep the gears turning. You are operating as a completely frictionless node. They have successfully offloaded the cost of management directly into your own nervous system. The urgency behind identifying this manipulation right now is purely structural. We are watching artificial intelligence and automated systems absorb administrative and cognitive tasks daily. The workplace architecture is shifting under your feet at blinding speed. Your compliance is only required for a highly specific, rapidly shrinking window of time. The machine needs you to remain a quiet, cooperative participant just long enough for your role to be fully mapped, systemized, and handed over to an algorithmic process. They are keeping your nervous system regulated with meaningless culture initiatives, so you do not realize you are actively training your own replacement. Every time you casually document a workflow or agree to record a quick tutorial for a cross-functional team, You are feeding the exact system that is preparing to render you functionally obsolete. You are essentially acting as the custodian of your own slow replacement. By continuing to operate under the delusion of corporate loyalty, you are trading the last remnants of your physical energy for an organization that views you as a temporary bridge. When the automation threshold is crossed, the HR department that called you family will process your exit paperwork with zero hesitation and absolute clinical detachment. They will not mourn you. They will cite structural reorganizations and changing market dynamics. If you wait until that morning to realize the entire relationship was an extraction loop, you will be left completely drained, discarded with zero leverage, and lacking the internal resources to pivot. You must break the conditioning before they hand you the cardboard box for your desk. You have to claw your autonomy back while you are still inside the building. The countermeasure requires total tactical detachment. Tomorrow morning, you stop playing the role of the loyal family member and you step into the role of a cold operator. Treat your next performance review or one-on-one sync as a hostile data exchange. Strip every ounce of perception management and emotional defense out of your vocabulary. When your manager attempts to use vague language about your commitment levels or culture fit, you do not apologize or explain yourself. You respond strictly with flat, falsifiable metrics. You look them in the eye and say, "I delivered the quarterly reports ahead of schedule and reduced error rates by 12%. Which specific metric are we addressing today?" Force them out of the psychological manipulation and pin them directly to the math. You refuse the micro-compliance trap by starving them of the emotional reaction they need to maintain control. This is how you reclaim your biology from the grind. By treating the workplace purely as a mercenary economic exchange, you instantly sever the invisible cords of systemic exploitation. You clock in, you deliver the exact metric required by your contract, and you log off without a single shred of guilt. Your nervous system stops firing threat signals every time a calendar notification appears because you have stopped allowing the machine to dictate your self-worth. You are still sitting in the same office, but you are no longer running their behavioral program. The exhaustion lifts. You take that recovered energy, the hours of sleep and mental bandwidth they used to steal from you, and you redirect it toward your actual life, your real family, and your exit strategy. You become a ghost in their machinery. Your compliance was the only thing holding their architecture together. Once you withdraw your emotional participation, you realize the entire corporate apparatus is shockingly fragile. They have no leverage over an employee who only communicates in facts and refuses to internalize their gaslighting. You are done being raw material for their quarterly earnings. You are an operator securing resources for your own survival. Start practicing this detachment on your very next call. If this brief gave you the vocabulary you needed to finally name what has been happening to you, then you are ready for the next level of operational awareness. Subscribe to the channel. Join the containment field. The machine is expanding, but we are mapping every single exit route. Stay quiet, stay detached, and start taking your energy back today.